Hiya 5. Today we're going to be looking at a legend that comes from the Aztec culture. So let's remind ourselves what is a legend. So a legend is a semi-true story which has been passed on from person to person and has important meaning or symbolism for the culture in which it originates. A legend usually includes an element of truth or is based on historic facts but with mythical qualities. Legends usually involve heroic characters or fantastic places and often encompass the spiritual belief of the culture in which they originate. Okay, so let's have a look at the one that we're going to be looking at. It's called The Legend of the Prickly Pear Cactus, and it's about an eagle that is going to be eating a poisonous snake, not steak, snake. Do you think it would be possible for an eagle to actually eat a poisonous snake? You can write down your short answer in your book. So pause for a second, just write yes and no and why you think it would be possible or you wouldn't be possible. This is just a little task. It's not your final task, but I would like you to just jot down what you think. Okay, so you have paused. If you have paused and you've written down, we can move on. You can now watch this video now. And unfortunately, as you know, we cannot put videos on YouTube, or it's a bit risky. So you will have to go on YouTube to watch these as well, because sometimes they block our videos. And please pause, watch the video and come back here. All right, so me again. We are going to be reading together now The Legend of the Prickly Pear Cactus. So we have found out that actually the eagle would eat the toxic snake. All right, let me try and put these a bit bigger because otherwise I cannot read. All right, hopefully I can see all the letters properly because it's a bit smudged in the video. All right, so for many years, the Aztec people wandered from place to place in search of a land they could call their own. The gods of sun and war had visited their priests long ago and sworn a promise that one day a fortunate priest would behold a mighty eagle perch on a cactus and feeding upon a snake. This would be the sign that they had found their home. Wherever the cactus grew, the Aztec people could build a home and live peacefully. The Aztec people searched and searched, and they began to wonder whether they had angered their gods. To please their gods, they decided to offer their gods human blood. When their warriors were fighting another tribe, they captured some prisoners and handed them over to the priests. The priests offered these prisoners up to the gods as human sacrifices, hoping the gods would be pleased with their gift. Yet still no priest could spot the sign for where they should settle. One morning, as the sun began to burn away the shadows of the night, a young priest woke early. He walked towards the foot of the mountain where his people were sleeping in search of the fresh breeze coming off the lake ahead. As he approached the vast expanse of murky water, he saw the silhouette of a great bird perched upon a prickly cactus growing amongst the marshy reeds, I think. His heart leapt with excitement. He began to edge carefully nearer and nearer, fearful he might disturb the birds and send it away. So let me move this a little bit. The bird remained perched precariously on the edge of razor-sharp cactus. As the priest crawled closer, his patience was rewarded unmistakably. Clutched between the eagle's claws was a snake, desperately writhing to escape its predator. At last, the eagle bent its neck and began to rip the snake with its hooked beak. Presently, the young priest became aware that he had been followed by a fellow priest, and the two of them watched the incredible sight of the eagle feasting upon its serpentine prey, balanced on the tip of the cactus. Their hearts pounding with elation, they hastened back to their people to tell them their great news, and others followed to watch the wonderful sight for themselves. And so it came to be that the Aztec people began to build their home on the swampy shores of Lake Texcoco. As they reclaim one part of the marsh after another, it grew into a huge island, which they named Tenochtitlan. I can't say it. I will tell you in a minute. The place of the prickly pear cactus. Tenochtitlans. There we go. I can say Tenochtitlan's. All right, so can I just point out that Texcoco probably in your text doesn't have a C there, but it's a typo, is a Texcoco, okay? And then we have Tenochtitlan's. All right, so how do we know that this is a legend? So what features does this story have to say, to tell us that it's a legend? So I would like you to use the text that's been put in your pack to underline which part or parts in particular are telling you that it's a legend. If you don't want to, if you don't have a copy for whatever reason, you lost it, you can print another one because I'm going to attach one to this to the tapestry post. Or otherwise, if you cannot print, you can just copy some of the sentences in your book. So this is your very first task. Okay. The second task is actually this. Now, these are your targets, or some of your targets in year 5. Now, this text is being changed in a way that your targets will fit the text. So because we want to make sure that you understand which are the targets that you need to meet, we would like you for today to find in this text these targets. So for example, I've picked the first one, so describe a setting in a story. So from the text there, I have lifted out the part where the setting has been described. So one morning, as the sun began to burn away the shadows of the night, blah, 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 he walked towards the foot of the mountain where his people were sleeping, blah, 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 blah. So the part that I have highlighted can either be highlighted in your text, and then you have to create a little key on the side so we can understand the color yellow means describe setting the story. Or maybe you can also do this, start writing the first few words or a full line or what you think could be describing a setting in a story from the text of the legend. Okay, so it's on this slide here. Now, same thing has to be done with the second one, with the third. So I have lifted another one. So use commas to clarify different clauses. So as you can see, I have used several examples. For example, one morning, comma, as the sun began to burn away the shadow of the night, comma, a young priest woke early. Obviously here we got comma for a fantastic, front adverbial, and then obviously is dividing the subordinate clause from the main clause, a young priest woke early. Same thing here, we've got brilliant front adverbial and then a secondary clause. Okay, sorry, and that will be the secondary clause, and then we have the main clause. Same thing here. So you can do the same, and as I said, you can either highlight it and then put that the blue, for example, is to identify the commas to separate clauses, or you can just write them in here. There we go. Now, there is also the bottom of the sheet, these working at greater depth. These are the ones that are being more challenging, but I'm not naming any names. I'm not mentioning anybody in particular, but I know that you can do it. Okay, so please, please, please make sure that you also try and fill in some of these. Obviously, our lesson could not finish without a challenge, and here is your challenge. So obviously, you need to try and fill in as many as possible from the target sheet. And after that, we would like you to actually rewrite part of the story in a way that you are somehow still hitting the targets, meeting the targets. For example, we have said here that this part will be describing a setting in a story. Can you rewrite it in your own words? Now, this is my take on this. The morning after, when the sun began to paint the surrounding mountain with red, vibrant colors, a young priest embarked on a journey. His people lay still at the foot of the mountain where a nearby lake breathed out a gentle breeze, a welcome respite from the constant heat. Okay, I've also used colon here. Look at me. So maybe I could meet another target, for example. So you can rewrite and try to meet other targets there as well with your creation. You don't have to do all of them. If you can just try for your challenge, a couple, 3 would be brilliant. Make sure that you also write dive deeper task in your book. So to recap, your task is to underline in the text what makes this text a legend, then identify in the text where these targets are met, and then if you want to, and I really hope many of you will try, please rewrite part of the story trying to still meet the target that you have identified previously. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time, year 5. Bye.